Hello there, humans. I am Dal Cecil Bruno, the partially blind alien who's an own voices author, aka the ace from space. And today, I hope you can hear me. I hope everyone can hear me. I am very nervous because let's be real, this is the first time I am doing a presentation about writing. This is my first workshop. I'm a fish out of water, y'all. In fact, this was going to be a very in the dark presentation. I was not going to have a slideshow. And then 2 hours earlier, I was like, judging by what you're going to talk about, girl, you need a slideshow. Like, don't try to play different. So, so here I am. I made a slideshow and yeah, so I have a presentation for you, and my topic for today is writing in the dark. Find your bioluminescence, which, if you know me, you know that's very in brand because my shows usually when I stream on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, it's like a writer in the dark. So this topic was very much in brand. Before I go on, because I am still very nervous, but yeah, I prepared my Google Slides, y'all. This is the first time I'm using Google Slides ever. So I'm gonna say hello to everyone in the chat. Hello, Keelan. Keelan is the organizer of this thing, and I'm very, very thankful to be included in it. So thank you very much, Keelan. Hello, the pronoun I. Good to see you. Mr. Hyde is here. Hello, good to see you. That's me saying I'm nervous. Very, very nervous. Mr. Hyde says that I shouldn't be nervous. Thank you. I hope you're having your third cup of coffee. Brittany Wang is here. Hi, Brittany. It's good to see you. I hope you like my thing. Ace from space. Thank you, Savi, for that aid with my tagline. I'm going to touch upon taglines a little bit here. Jay says loud and clear. Right, Holly Davis is here. Hello, Holly. Leah. Hello, Leah. So good to see you. Nicole Fort, we already love you, doll. So no reason to worry. Just some friends staying around. Okay. I hope you will like my presentation. Hello, Ryan. Good morning. Good to see you. Uh huh. Tracy. Hey. Thank you. Hi. It's Tracy, right? Yeah. I have to put a disclaimer here. I am really partially blind, so like if I read your name wrong or I skip some comments, I do apologize because, well, Dal is blind. So let's start the whole thing now that I caught up in the comments. I'm gonna. Oh yeah, and I tend to sing sometimes. So this is it's a thing. Okay, so this is my presentation. Welcome. I should have put the black background, but Dal is silly like that. So this is my writer in the dark. It's the same logo that you saw on the thumbnail. And so, yeah, it changed. So, who is this alien? Well, apart from my usual tagline, I am an own voices partially blind author of poetry and short stories. I have one short story that's already out. It's a romance short story, which is a miracle, but yeah, I wrote a romance once, and it's part of the disability and romance anthology that's called Summer Hate, Imperfectly Yours, Volume 1. And I also write some poetry that you can find on my YouTube channel. I have a playlist over there that's called Binge My Poetry, where you can see the progress of my poetry. I speak 3 languages. I don't disclose which one is my native one, although I have been open and honest about English not being the one that it's my native language. Also, I have funny accents, so it's impossible that it's English. But yes, I also speak Italian and Spanish. And I also have some knowledge of Hungarian and Finnish. And shout out to my friends in Iceland for helping me with some knowledge of Icelandic, because I tend to write stories based in Iceland very much. I don't know. I made a video about that, so I'm not going to use my presentation to explain all my stuff. I used to be a former musician and songwriter. So I play guitar that's my main instrument, but I also have knowledge of wind instruments, like tin whistle, melodica, and other wind instruments, minor percussion, and I am self-taught. I play the bowrun. Okay, my love for Ireland is coming out. Uh, anyway, and I used to write my own songs under another name. So if you type Dal Cecil Bruno, you're not gonna find my music things. If you're very curious, you can ask me later. But Dal Cecil Bruno is a pen name, and I keep my previous lives separated from my writer project. If you're very interested and curious, I can, of course, lead you there because I have nothing to hide. It's just, marketing purposes. I also was a blind photographer, or like, blind is shorter than partially blind. So for marketing purposes, all of us are just called blind photographers. I'm not the only one. And I had 2 photo exhibits in Europe. So yeah, those are my credentials. I have credentials, which I still can't believe I have credentials, y'all. So what is bioluminescence, and why did I choose this metaphor? Okay, so bioluminescence is the production and emission of light from living organisms. It's a whole chemical process with the enzymes luciferase and luciferin, and it turns out that, like, thanks to oxygen and other protein components like ATP, and this is very chemistry, so like you don't have to retain this, but there's a lot of chemical processes that make the enzymes interact, and this is how light is produced. And still don't understand. My dad is the chemist, not me. I'm a simple artist. But we were talking about that last night because I wanted to talk about it. But yeah, so it's a whole chemical process which helps creatures to produce light. You can see that a lot in the animal kingdom. The most well-known, of course, are fireflies because they are beautiful. You can see them in movies, and there are whole summer gathering events for people to go outside in the forest at night and watch the fireflies dancing and stuff. So that's the most well known, but we also know creatures like glowworms and all the marine biology that produces light because they live in the depth of the ocean. So yeah, they need it because they are like in the dark, as you can you see where I'm going. Writer in the Dark is basically me inspired by the film Dancer in the Dark featuring Björk. uh, Björk can never miss in one of my streams or my channel. I am very inspired by the talent that is this woman. So she made a movie where she played a blind character. The movie is called Dancer in the Dark. It changed my life. I don't know if for better or for worse, but it changed my life. So I decided to title all my stuff Writer in the Dark. So I am very much a marine creature, apparently. I'm an alien. So bioluminescence has always been very interesting for me. And so this is why I got very inspired by nature. Also, my writing is very inspired by nature. One of my protagonists in the sci-fi is very into reading about nature and all that it encompasses, like animal wildlife and stuff like that. So I am very much into this topic, even though I am not the best at science. But I write sci-fi, and even in my other genres, in the short stories, like the Northern Lights always make a cameo somehow. So yeah, bioluminescence is very near and dear to my heart, and that's why I chose it. I hope it makes sense that for a writer with a clear disadvantage like me, but this is not just about me, whatever your disadvantage may be, could be traced like to this metaphor of creatures that also live in a very harsh and cruel environment where there's no light, there's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of, difficulties to find food and all those disadvantages, so to speak. They produce their own light, and this is how, even though we don't know everything that is in our oceans yet, we know about bioluminescence because these creatures stood out in the dark. And so I hope it makes sense. Let's move on. assessments. So what do I mean by this? How does your disadvantage affect your life, your art, yourself? You don't have to be partially blind to follow this topic. You could be hard of hearing, you could be having multiple chronic conditions. I mean, I am very close to people with different chronic conditions. Shout out to my friend Joey Paul. I know, Joey, you might not be here because time zones or busy, or maybe you are having a day, a busy day that's not involving writing today. But still, shout out to Joey Paul. She's an amazing disabled author, and I think she's one of the best examples of someone who's way ahead of the curve. I'm a novice, she's experienced, so she would be like the other end of the spectrum. This is the beginning of my journey, and she's like 15 years into indie publishing. So that's another example of someone with a disability who is, has worked the whole presentation that I'm already talking about. So I believe she doesn't really need this. But it doesn't have to be a physical disability. I'm not going to touch upon mental health very much because that's a completely different game. And there are still other things that, I mean, I would be here 3 hours if I talked about mental health. So I'm not going to go there. Oh, hello, Lisa Daly. Thank you for being here. So, and also hello, Adega, and all the people in the comments. I see you. I'm just multitasking with multi-windows here. So you have to assess what is your current disadvantage. It could be that you have 3 jobs to maintain or something, or you have a big family that you have to take care of. You are a first-time mom. You are, in college, and it takes a lot of your time. I mean, time is essential when it comes to like assessing your circumstances. This is why I didn't use the word disability, how your disadvantage affect your life, your art, yourself. So it's all about like assessing your here and now, your current circumstances. So I want to be a writer, but this and this and that is affecting my life. This is the first step. And it's very introspective. This presentation is like, you can come back and listen to my ramblings and think about things directed at you specifically, like how everything affects you. So, okay. Acceptance, because this is the next step. You might realize that, oh my God, I have 3 kids to take care of, 2 jobs, this and that, and I have no time. Or in my case, for example, I'm partially blind. I read with my ears. I don't know anything about punctuation. Oh my God, English is my second language. That is another disadvantage. This is why I also mentioned that I speak 3 languages. English is my second. So the next thing is to accept that there will be things that you cannot do or you cannot do yet. So there's a period of grief or frustration, or and it's not a linear thing. It will come back. It's a circle. It comes around. So there will be times where you will be frustrated that you cannot do this or you cannot do that, or you still have a lot to learn. There's a long way to go. I mean, everybody has a long way to go. And then you might fall into the comparison mistake that you start thinking, oh my God, everybody else is already ahead of the curve and they're doing so much better than I am. No. Accept your grief, accept your frustration, embrace it for a moment, meditate, do this privately or with very trusted people. You can bitch around with your best friends, but you have to accept that everyone has a different journey. Yours is different depending on your circumstances. There might be different from me. I mean, hell, even blind authors have it different from one another, because I was born with my visual impairment from the very beginning. I was as blind as I am now, and it's not progressive. But I know from fellow blind writers like Lauren and Nicole Wheatley that their vision loss is progressive. So, you go from this amount of vision to less and less, and like that's a completely different circumstance for them. And I have never lived that experience. So like I don't know how they go about it. They are just fellow blind writers that I know about, and I got to know their process and like their current circumstances a little bit better. So like they have another way to assess things than mine. So even among blind people, it's different, and among hard of hearing people, deaf people, all of this, when it comes to like different disabilities or disadvantages or your current lifestyle, all of this is going to inform your writing. So there is no way that you're gonna write something that is not a part of you. It will inform your writing, it will inform the way that you process things, the way that you research things, the way that you market yourself. It will influence so many things that I think acceptance is a very, very important, difficult, yet very important step in this process of creating your own bioluminescence, like AKA the chemical process that will make you stand out in the dark. So this is introspection time. Who are you? What are your writing? What are your writing genres? What do you what what? What do you do on your social media? And what's your unique thing? Now, I heard yesterday, for example, when we were having workshops or panels, I heard a fellow author say, "Oh crap, I need to work on outros because I don't know how to do outros, and you're all nailing it, and I don't have a tagline, and I need to work around this." So yeah, how do you find your tagline? How do you find who you are? How do you market yourself? If you were at Sacco and Sage's branding workshop, I mean, I guess you got a lot of clues over there. I hope so. I was not there because I was panicking for this thing. I will catch it on the replay. But these are important questions. Who are you? What are your writing genres? Because maybe you have more than one, and the cool thing is that you can combine it. You know, this is why, for example, I want to write science fiction. That's my main genre, because I am querying sci-fi novels to get published traditionally, hopefully. But I also want to go into horror someday, and I like the spooky. Even my sci-fi has some nightmares and like spooky things. And so this is why I do a lot of darkness in my. I combine both bioluminescence and darkness. This is why you also see like the Halloween timer with the bats. It denotes that I like spooky, but at the same time I like nature. So your main genres, oh, and the silhouettes as well. Silhouettes were a part of my channel before I moved continents, and I had to do animations because I could no longer do the silhouette thing. So why silhouettes? I was playing on myself. I mean, I cannot see people very clearly. I don't see silhouettes, but I thought it was cool. I mean, I cannot see people very clearly. So therefore people cannot see me. And it's something that I also used in one of my romance, and in my romance short story where one of the main characters is also blind, and for her brand thing she also hides herself as a silhouette or a shadow. Hmm. Excuse me. Stay hydrated, everybody. So this, I will leave you a few minutes. No, I'm not going to use a timer or anything. I'm just going to leave you a few minutes to meditate and think about who you are, because I think this is the most important thing. Write it down if you can, if you have like pen and paper at hand. And I'm rhyming again, and sorry, I don't understand why I do that, but okay. So think about it. I will leave you a few minutes. Think of yourself, your genres. What do you do on social media? Do you rant on social media? Do you post interesting articles on social media? Do you use your social media, for example, for inspiring quotes? What do you do on your social media? Because that will also help you find your tagline. And another thing, what is your unique thing? I'm an alien because I like multiculturalism, and it seems like I am a very eager person who's looking for new things to learn and observations about this planet, and there are many, many cultures around the world. So I'm an alien in that sense because, I'm not an alien, but, it's part of the brand. Look at all your unique traits and your unique combinations that make you you, and try to find a tagline. I will give you a few minutes and go. And bing, 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 bing. We're back. I mean, it was a short time just for you to think and get to know yourself. I am sure that a lot of you are already ahead of the curve with the marketing. If you're new, this will still be on the replay and you can pause and take as long as you need to work on who are you, what are your writing genres, what do you do on your social media, what's your unique thing. So let's move on because I only have 1 hour. Deliberate practice. Now, once you know all these things about yourself and how you're going to write your stories, if you like to write in multi POV, if you like to write in single POV, if you like to write sci-fi or sci-fi romance or sci-fi horror or sci-fi horror mystery out of the box genre blendings, it doesn't matter what you want to do, as long just as long just as you know. Oh my god, my grammar. It doesn't matter what kind of thing you want to write and what you want to do, so long as you know who you are and how genuine that is, because the more genuine you are, it's the more you're going to stand out, you know. It's going to be very notorious. People see those things. So put in the work. Research for your story, your genre, your market. Oh god, I removed that dot. it didn't save. Okay, whatever. There's a typo right there. Yeah, clear proof of my own disadvantage. Um, so yeah, research everything as much as you can. There are a lot of free resources, so that will always help you. And when you're a little bit stuck in your research, you can always go and ask. That's another point in the presentation. But no one out there will have no one out there will lower the standards to accommodate you. This is harsh. I know it sounds tough, but it's the truth. When you want to become an author, you need to think about the quality of your work, the quality of your branding, your marketing, yourself as an online presence. I'm still working on that last one because I stumble upon my words and I'm still very nervous and I need to get rid of that and be more confident. But like, no one is going to lower the standards to accommodate you. No one is going to go on Amazon, for example. This is something I was discussing with a fellow writer friend. Um, if you're a disabled author and you market yourself as a disabled author and like an own voices, for example, because I do the own voices thing, just to be upfront about the stories that I write, but not necessarily to say, hey, my work is not exactly the same quality of cited writers. No, 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 no. I want to be on par with quality. I'm still learning and I need to work on that. But no one is going to lower my standards. So what I said to my friend is, think of this. You market yourself well enough that people are buying your book or your books or whatever. People are buying it, they are enjoying it, it's great. Awesome. But then, so the algorithm picks up on that and starts promoting to new people, and new people are finding you for whatever reason. These new people maybe don't know that you're blind. They just saw the book cover and they bought it because it sounded interesting. They read the blurb on whatnot, and it was like in the recommendations, whatever. And these people are not going to care if you are disabled in any way. They're going to be equally harsh and they are going to judge you as a default, unless you tell them. They don't know your perspective. You need to find a happy middle where you can share your unique perspectives while making it accessible for people who are not a part of your perspective. So this is why I struggle a lot with visual descriptions, especially if I am writing characters who are sighted as a main POV, which I know was very challenging to start with. I mean, I should maybe not have started that way, but I did. Because in my case, I like to do multi POV, and I like the dual contrast, like having two different POVs, that one is sighted and the other one is not. So for when I'm going to go on the sighted perspective, I need to put on the work, because sighted people are not going to buy it if I don't give them the necessary visuals that they want. Even though I'm a blind author, I am writing a character that is sighted. So yeah, put in the work. It's going to be hard, it's going to be harsh, but it is a really tough industry. And for me, going into traditional publishing, there's no place for softies there. So I need to work hard, and this is one of the reasons why I am very demanding with myself, I guess. So asking for help is the next part, because this is absolutely important. To find a happy middle, which is what I was saying, you need feedback, but you will also need to know how to handle it depending on where and whom it came from. I see new people in the comments. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you're enjoying the presentation. So what do I mean by handling feedback depending on where and whom it came from? First of all, no one knows your story, your characters. No one knows your world as a writer as much as you do. This is why I am very emphatic on the introspection aspect. You have to be very self-aware of what you want to do with your writing career, with your stories, with your audience. I'm still working on the audience. I'm just being very transparent. I'm very new to this. What am I doing? Anyway, I should not be the one lecturing, but I am. So here we go. Thing is, as you are a new writer and you don't know exactly what to do, this is another disadvantage, not knowing what to do. So you're searching for information, you're learning, you're improving the quality of your work, you're improving your marketing strategies, etc. You will need to ask for help from people who know better than you do. And you will need to handle that feedback accordingly. Sometimes people are going to give you feedback because they are a freelance editor, but said freelance editor has never worked with a disabled author before, like a blind author. I am always the first blind author. They have never done that before. And some people have empathy, some don't. And it will always depend, like if the editor in question is very big in fantasy, which is a very visual genre. Now I am talking about my own examples because I'm not going to speak for anybody else, because those are not my stories to tell. But if the editor is big in fantasy and you show them a thriller and you are a blind author, and like they are as much a fish out of water as you are. So there's no compatibility there. So the feedback that's going to come from that person might be helpful in some things, in some mechanics, of writing. But is it really? Do they know your story? Do they know what you're doing? If you don't feel that there is a mutual connection there, you might as well just consider the feedback and let it pass, and just keep on looking for people who will genuinely help you, who genuinely understand what you're about. But if you want, this is like, if you want anyone to love you, you have to love yourself. It goes the same for understanding. If you want people to understand you, you have to understand yourself. If you want people to understand your writing and your art and what your stories are about and all those things, you have to understand it yourself before anyone else does. And then when you're asking for help, you can find that mutual connection, and then you can handle feedback and implement it in order to make your story the best it can be. I worked with an editor who is amazing, and the editor took the time to understand what my thing was about, because it was very unconventional. But the editor took the time to understand me, corrected me, and called me out of my crap when it was necessary, but also when the editor did not know a thing that I knew better. You see, there was a two-way conversation here. So this is what I mean with implementing feedback and how you handle it, depending on where and whom it came from. Because not everyone is going to know the same that you do, and you don't know what they know. So it's a mutual exchange. It's not an inferiority thing. And this is something I have been working on for a while now, that it is not that, oh, they know everything and everything they tell you, you are like, yes, 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 yes. No, because you are the writer, you are the artist. You need help. You don't need others to do the work for you. Secret word time. Let's do a pause here, and I'm going to say hello to everyone in the chat because I have a lot of comments and I want to catch up. There will be a Q&A at the end anyway. So save your questions for your the Q&A section. Hey, Cliftofer, good to see you. Mr. Hyde says, I like my horror. Oh, look who's here. My bro is here. Hello. My retreating darlings. Good morning. Okay, weird. Good to see you, my lovely karaoke sister. One of my karaoke sisters, because VC Brown is another one. And we miss you, VC Brown. Anyway, good morning, the novel Nana. Oh, Dalsol, sorry I am late. Having trouble again with my internet. I was supposed to co-host with Sharon. Oh, but I couldn't get my internet working. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And I'm glad you made it here. You can catch the replay for later. Morning, everyone. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sako. Good to see you. Oh, you also missed Sako this morning. So internet problems. Really, internet problems. Oh, my God. Good morning. People are just saying hello to each other. So yeah, save your questions for the Q&A part. Okay, let's go back to the presentation, because if you are new to the retreat, if you just stumble upon this thing, what is the secret word thing? Secret word is a thing that we collect from every stream. and every workshop and panel, so the whole retreat. Don't worry, you can catch words on the replay too. If you collect all the words or as many as you can, you will also enter for a draw to win one of the four $15 Amazon gift cards. You can enter this draw on the website if I'm correct. All the information is going to be on the AuthrTube Writing Retreats website. All the links for this are in the description of this video and all the other streams. All the information for the retreats is in the description below. So what is the secret word, doll? Metoxia millipedes. Oh my God. Seriously, I will leave it there as you write it down. That's the word, Metoxia millipedes. Yeah, I am talking bioluminescence today, and Metoxia millipedes are these subspecies of millipedes that are able to glow. And I chose this ones in particular because they are blind. No surprise coming from me. They are blind. You can find them near Nevada and California, if I remember correctly. Oh my God. You stumbled upon this. Okay. So yeah, this is a secret word, Metoxia millipedes. I know it's, but yeah, it's a blind worm. It's a blind millipede that glows in the dark. And it is a way of self-defense against predators because they look less tasty, I guess. I forgot the whole scientific thing, so forgive me. It's very early in the morning and I don't, my brain is not at the fullest of its intellectual capacity. But yes, this is a word, Metoxia millipedes. Now, more work. And this is, that's why I said my brain is not at its fullest intellectual capacity. More work. The importance of self-actualization. This is something that, as a sci-fi writer, I feel like I write science fiction. I need to be on, up to date with everything that has to do with technology. So my sci-fi doesn't read like a prehistoric thing by the time I publish. Oh my God. So self-actualization is don't eat me, I'm radioactive. Yes, okay, weird. Yes. The people are enjoying the millipede analogy thing. So, like what I'm doing with this workshop, I tried to take like a sci-fi-ish approach with this whole metaphor of bioluminescence because it's in brand and because self-actualization. I learned a lot about bioluminescence before I made this presentation. I am not sharing it with you because again, it's early morning and I need coffee. I definitely need, but self-actualization is something that should never stop in your writing career. You cannot just think that because you did research about a certain culture when you were a teenager, that's it and that's all you need to know. Yes, knowledge does accumulate. I have talked about that before in another stream that I was co-hosting. Knowledge does accumulate with the years. So certain things, like a few things here and there, will become a little bit easier and you will become more knowledgeable and you will be more, capable of writing more challenging topics in your stories. But self-actualization never, ever ends. And when you're at a clear disadvantage, you will always have to like self-update yourself wherever your weaknesses are. So this is why I hang out with people who are very visual. I am lost most of the time, but I try to learn from them. I try to update myself in every visual concept that people are talking about because I don't watch movies. I need help for that, but I try to understand things that at the moment I don't. So this is why I always emphasize that deliberate practice and put in the work and more research, it never ends. Being a writer is not an easy thing. You will not just word vomit a fast draft and get rid of the typos and self-edit a little bit and boom, to Amazon. No. That's not something that you have to do if you want quality to be put out there. I I am very demanding of myself, and I want quality, and I want to be as professional as I can be. So more work is always needed, always demanded from me. But finally, gratitude, kindness, and patience go a long way. This is essential for my everything that I do with my writing. It's essential. I cannot escape it. I cannot possibly do anything that I do if I am not, first of all, grateful for all the things that I have reached so far, grateful for all the support that I am getting from the community, even if it's not always the thing that you need, even if it's not the feedback that you were looking for, even if it's not the mutual understanding that I was talking about earlier on. I am still absolutely 100% thankful for the fact that people are here supporting me, people are interested in what I have to say, people are curious of my writing journey. So, gratitude is poignant and potent. It will always take you further than where you were before. Kindness, and this is a hard one for me. I choose to be a kind person. I am not always. I mean, I have a lot of frustrations in my life. I have a lot of depression and anxiety and, pessimism to overcome, and a lot of other disadvantages that don't necessarily have to do with blindness. I am very realistic. I always look at both things. I look at the dark and the bright, and I just cannot do without. But I choose to be kind in every way I can, because combined with gratitude, it's like kindness is essential for growth as a writer, as an artist, because you have to remember something. Think of it this way. When you're a performer, not so much as a writer, but hey, maybe you have a speaking gig at some point. But think of this. Think of your audience. When you do like a physical performance, be it singing, theater, poetry, like slam poetry, open mic nights, whatever it is, when you're there physically, how does the clapping sound like? It's a noise. It's a clapping noise. You can hear it. But like when you hear a big crowd, a big one, clapping, think of it. A standing ovation, a clapping audience for an artist is like rain to fauna and to flora mostly. It's like rain to flowers. It sounds very similar, and it nourishes. So kindness is essential. And now the final one, patience. This is hard. No one ever said that being a writer or any artist, especially in today's age, no one said is easy. And I see a lot of rush and a lot of hustle culture and a lot of you have to put a book out. And I know that rapid release is a thing. I am not contradicting rapid release here, but I am very well aware that I cannot do rapid release, for example. But I see a lot of rushing in the sense that there are a lot of challenges that you have to write a book in a month. And I love NaNoWriMo, but it's a little bit rushy, and people misunderstand the challenge of NaNoWriMo. They think that they do their nano and that's it. That's the book. It's ready, goes to Amazon. I have heard of this. A lot of new people believe in this. And even experienced people rush the process. They rush it. And I am on the other end of the spectrum. I believe in patience. I believe in developing yourself and your work as much as you can in order to produce the best work. I'm not saying that you're going to work on your story for 20 years. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that patience is required. Now, for people who are pursuing traditional publishing, my goodness, patience is essential. Remember that this presentation comes from someone who is pursuing traditional publishing, and traditional publishing demands patience. So this is why I included it in my presentation. It is essential, and it is a very important for like this whole metaphorical thing of developing your chemical process to stand out and to create your own bioluminescence. So remember those three: GKP, gratitude, kindness, and patience go a long way. Think of it as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's your protein that's going to interact with everything else that I talked about and develop your own bioluminescence. Oh boy, I introduced the chemistry there. Sorry. Thank you, Dad. So ready, Q&A. Questions. Ask me all your questions. I have 15 minutes. Tell me whatever you want to know. And I'm ready. Eva was also late. What is it? Oh, well, people are having problems with the internet. So, yeah. Hi. Thank you, Bonnie. So, yes, quick Q&A time. Ask me anything you want to know about anything that I said. Yeah. If you heard it, if you heard the presentation, that is. So, yeah, it's Q&A time. Let's see. I should jump on YouTube and see what the comments are there. Yeah, just in time for the Q&A. Yeah, ask me anything that you want to know. Let's see the YouTube channel. Oh, hopefully my Wi-Fi, hopefully this is not laggy and you could actually hear whatever I had to say, because that would be shameful if I was roboting and, lagging the whole time. Goodness. No questions yet. Um, Question here from Keelan. If I have a favorite, my primary genre is sci-fi. I have said that before. This is why the whole presentation is very sci-fi-ish with the whole bioluminescent thing and the secret word and all that stuff. So sci-fi is my primary genre. I love it very much. I am very fond of astronomy, and I have been always fond of astronomy since I was a kid. One of the first books that I learned to read with was an astronomy book. So yeah, I was learning about the solar system and constellations, and yet constellations were hard for me because it was very visual and I could not distinguish the differences between maps. But yeah, astronomy was my love since I was a kid. So no wonder I write sci-fi. I am very interested in nature, even though I suck for chemistry and science. I am not very good at it, but hey, I like it anyway. So another genre that I want to write, but I am just not experienced at all, and I need to do a lot of work and research, is horror. And I do have some elements of spooks in my writing in general. With the whole sensory deprivation and stuff. And I'm currently working on a horror short story. That will be the first time I write a horror, and it has a blind narrator, first person POV. So I like horror too, but sci-fi is currently the genre that apparently got my heart first. Sako says it's too early for questions. Bonnie says, what do you feel makes you most important in knowing your book is ready for betas? What do you feel is the most important in makes it most okay? Knowing your book is, you have put in the work. That's it's a thing, like I don't know how to answer this. So how do you know it's ready for betas? You have revised it many times, and you know your story, you know your characters. There are no more placeholders in your manuscript, because I know that a lot of people do placeholders. So at the time that you have gotten rid of all the or most of the majority of the placeholders, you have completed all of the scenes, the draft is complete, you have got rid of all the typos you can find. I mean, there will always be. No, even in my presentation, there was like a punctuation typo. And I noticed it and I saved it, but apparently my internet cuckoo didn't save it. So, like, you make sure that you self polish it as much as you can, and then you go to beta readers. Then, because it is edited and worked to the best of your current abilities. Beta readers will give you feedback that you have blind spots on. Okay, Weird asks, how has your traveling impacted your writing? Oof, immensely. I cannot possibly write about one place, one thing all the time. Yes, I do write about Iceland a lot, but it's not the only place I write about. I am very I need to travel, and even when I cannot travel physically, I do a lot of Google Map traveling and Google Satellite and YouTube travel videos and Instagram blog posts and journals, travel journals. I enjoy the ones that are like hours and hours of just traveling footage, because they are sharing their genuine experience instead of just editing the highlights of their trip. I enjoy those the most. But like, my own traveling has shown me, and this is why my writing is very contrasted. Like I said, I struggle with depression and anxiety, but traveling has shown me that there is beauty out there. And so I cannot do only one. I need to show both in my writing. I show the darkest of dark of depression and even S word trigger warning things. I go to the darkest of dark that my mind can possibly generate at the time, but I also try to show the beauty that I have encountered in my experience or the experience of others that I have been able to find online or through storytelling and whatever. But yes, oh yes, horror, yes. Sako, shout out to Sako, she gave me advice on maybe trying out horror because of the whole sensory deprivation thing. I'm gonna try that in the future when I know the genre better. Do you think it is rapidity can get a writer trapped in the furniture signifiers of a genre and so neglect the writer voice and identity on their? Yes. Well, you read my mind. We have discussed this actually. I mean, the writer voice is essential. This is why I emphasize that you have to know yourself, your unique things, your quirks, your style, the things that you like, the things that make you you, because all of that will inform your writer voice. The things that you love reading, the way that you love to speak, and the way that you want to sound, the way that you want your stories to sound. If it sounds good, it's good. But yes, a lot of people focus on, the surface level things and forget about the personality of their work. So yeah, this is why I emphasize on patience, self-actualization, and all the things that I talked about in this presentation. And you see how I rhyme without even I realize that I rhyme when I'm about to hit the last syllable. Sorry. How do you know you're ready for betas if writing in a new genre? Oof. To be fair with you, I don't know. I never know when I'm ready for betas. What I know is when I feel that my story is to the best of my current capacity. And I am very demanding with myself. So that's how I know that, okay, maybe this is ready for betas, because I have no more placeholders, I have no more research to do as of right now. So now it is all about the feedback of the things that I have not noticed yet. Hopefully that answers. The question: when you start writing horror, do you have an idea yet or on what you're are starting with? Yes, I have a first person blind narrator because yeah, I just answered that. Sorry, I am slow with the comments. Yeah, sorry for the. Oh no, don't worry, Bonnie. It's okay. It's early morning. Everybody needs coffee. Hi, Heather. Good to see you, Heather. Heather is saying hello to everybody, and people are saying hello to Heather. And a lot of comments. I can't wait to be able to travel again. Yes, I can't wait to be able to travel again. Well, I hope that all of the questions were answered. If you still have more questions or you catch the presentation later, I will also be hosting sprints at 2 p.m. today. So if you have more questions on this presentation and all the things that I talked about, I would love to answer them. You can catch me at my writing sprints. Unfortunately, I don't have any co-host. If anybody wants to jump in and I can update that, whatever. I don't know if you can do that because it's a writing retreat. So apparently I will be solo. But yeah, I will have a sprint thing at 2 p.m. So if you want to catch me there, that will be great. If you have more questions, I am always open, not only for this retreat, but like if you want to message me on social media and ask me more questions, maybe resources to be more introspective and whatnot, if that's not your regular practice, meditation and so on, self-awareness exercises, I'm there for you. You can always message me. So finally, I just want to say thank you to the whole event, AuthrTube Writing Retreats. Thank you very much, Keelan, for inviting me and letting me ramble and do this thing, even though I was very much not knowing. Sacco will jump in. Sacco will jump in. I don't mind. Come right with me, Sacco. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern, so get ready for that. Hang on. I will not change the link. They will just jump in on my thing. They will just jump in. I don't change the links. I don't change the Yeah, I don't know. Don't worry, Keelan. I know. Thank you very much, Keelan, for inviting me. I hope this was good. I have to close because it's the end of my time slot and you have to go up next to RP Winters, who is going to be hosting a session on turning moments into stories. So I hope that you enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed this one. Also, thank you. Don't worry. Thank you, the novel Nana. Thanks for this introspective workshop. Thank you. I'm glad it was introspective. That was the whole purpose. Because remember, light comes from within. So, yep. That was me. I am Dal Cecil Bruno, the partially blind alien who is a known voices author, aka the Ace from space. My primary genre is sci-fi, but I like to explore other genres with my short stories. I have a romance out. I have a thriller coming out this Halloween. I have a magical realism and a horror short story in the works. So 2 short stories in the works. I will be part of the audiobook anthology at the end of this month with Orla Hart as a host. So I have a lot of things coming. Thank you, and I will see you in my next stream.